And recently, we've seen with the Health and Safety UK as a 10-year strategy, and they're prioritising work-related stress, mental health as areas that they want to intervene on. Now, intervention could be both regulatory, or it could be support and practical advice. I don't think we should shy away from regulation. It's the only area that people beg you when you're a regulator to do something. It's weird. Most of the time they tell you don't issue a notice, but with the mental health people they say, please issue a notice. Could you just please issue a notice? Because the board won't do anything unless you issue a notice. What about you? I mean, you've been on the boards, haven't you, Hayley?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. We speak about the Health and Safety at Work Act. We have shouted safety, whispered health. We have got ISO 45003 and got the World Health Organizations. I guess the difference, as you've just mentioned, Joelle, is in Australia, you've got regs that are making it a bit more explicit. And one of the things when I went through the process of implementing 45003 is that it's not an accredited program. It's only certified. And things like that, I think there's still some way that we need to go. We've got some space to move this forward so that people actually are doing this because it is the right thing to do, of course, but also because there is a legal requirement. And I think one of the things that I would like to see us discussing in this space is organizations, specifically in the UK, the NHS is struggling. Organizations are taking on a lot more in terms of looking after the health of their employees. But that's not just because we want healthy people, but how do we really get through the fact that it is about performance, productivity, longevity, sustainable workforce? I think that's really, really important. So it's something that we've got a long way to go, I do believe, for us to really make sure that people are taking this seriously. But what frustrates me quite often in this space is that there isn't any direction for people who are leading well-being potentially, because there's no specific role description. There are a lot of different roles, a lot of people doing what they feel is right. And you know what? We need advocates. We need a well-being movement. That is absolutely the right direction to go. But we cannot, 5 to 10 years later, still be in a conference room talking about mental health first aid. That is not going to solution the systemic problem that we've got in terms of mitigating those work-related hazards that are exacerbating a person's stresses, personal, which is exacerbated by work. So I think for me, that's definitely something that I'm keen to explore, and that people, they start to say, oh, we want to enhance our well-being strategy. So you're saying you've embedded it, but now we want to enhance. What does that actually mean? And are you actually ready to do what's needed, as Pete said, or are you waiting on a notice to say, well, you can see you've got 70% of your workforce who are stressed. What are you doing about that? Or, what's actually going to make you do something about that? And is that a notice? Is that regulation? I think it's a really interesting space and something that we need to bring people on the journey and continually create more awareness around.